Hello and welcome to this E4Clicks Project Estimator Training video, opening your pricing guides. Today we're going to look at how to open a pricing guide, obviously. We're also going to see how to set your favorite or default pricing guide, and we're going to look at the handy-dandy Quick Select Guide pull-down. All right? We will investigate some of the different pricing guide options you have available to you. We're not going to get into great detail on them. We just kind of want to open them up, kind of give you a little information on it, but we want to really focus on the process of opening a guide in this video. E4Clicks opens to our projects window, as we've found out in previous videos. We're going to focus on the pricing guides and how to get line items out of there, okay? So line items reside in estimates. Estimates reside in projects, okay? So what we're going to do here is open up a project, finding it and double-clicking on it. Then we're going to open up maybe the estimate we'd like to work with, finding it, double-clicking on it, and we'll be inside the Updating Estimate window on the Line Items tab. All right, line items, where do they come from? Line items come from two places. One, we either create them totally from scratch, so we call up a vendor, we go on the internet and do some search, we have our own knowledge inside of our head that we can come up and we can create an item from scratch that would be a custom item. Okay, that's what we'll call it inside of E4Clicks. The other way that we'll grab a line item is through a pricing guide. So someone else has done all of that research for you and put it into some kind of a pricing guide. That's what we're going to focus on here in this video. So inside of E4Clicks, how are you going to guess that we're going to open up a pricing guide? If you said right-click, I'm so proud of you, right? If in doubt, right-click. We have two options here. One is the Open Guide, and the fourth option down is Select Guide to Open. Now, some of you are thinking, hey, I bet this top option is reserved for our default or favorite pricing guide. And if you're thinking that, you're on target. All right? This is where we're going to pop in our default guide. So let's run this process first, and then we'll see how it works. The first time we run it, it opens up the Pricing Guide Registry window because we don't have a default yet. Let's go ahead and let's set up the Building Construction Cost Data, or the BCCD, as our default pricing guide. How do you think we would set this as our default? That's right, I heard some right clicks out there. If we highlight it and right click on it, we see that the second option down is set as default. Right now there's no asterisk anywhere. When we click on this, that'll set up an asterisk right next to our building construction, and it will be our default. Okay, so let's take a quick peek here before we do anything else. Our list of guides here has both active and inactive. All right, so we have some filtering tabs down here. We're kind of getting used to these a little bit. So we have some inactive guides, which are fully accessible. They're just not always on the top screen there. Or we could click on the All Filtering tab, and this will show us both our active as well as our inactive guides. So our inactive, maybe there's a guide that we don't use quite as often, like the Master Composite, or maybe there's an old one from last year that we don't need to open all the time, but maybe we want to reference that information at some point so we can have it in our inactive. All right, so let's take a peek at some of these. And then as we go through the process, we'll look at more and more pricing guides. Let's look at RS Means, because obviously we see a lot of RS Means stuff here. All right, RS Means is maybe the North America's most popular pricing guide industry leader here. So what we've got here is the Building Construction, which is a great book. The Facilities is maybe twice the size, and it has, it might be the most popular pricing guide right now in North America here. It's got lots of line items from all of the different divisions. All right, so it's a very popular one. The Master Composite is a nice one too. What it is, the composite, what that kind of means is it's multiple guides in one, so it's a composite of multiple guides. There are 9 different guides that kind of make up this Master Composite. They're the specific division or trade kind of stuff. So the full electrical book, the full mechanical, HVAC, the full plumbing, that kind of stuff, the heavy construction, the full interior design. So those 9 books go into the Master Composite. All right. So the Master, the Facilities, and the Building are examples of what we call the unit price books. So these books are very specific. So every line item is very specific. So say we were putting in a door. We would need multiple line items to put in that door. So we would grab the door itself, maybe the door hardware as a separate line item, the door, like the hinges, the door handle as another line item, and maybe the trim around the door as another line item. So multiple line items need to be chosen to get our full door in there. Now what the assemblies data does is it says, hey, these are commonly used all together at the same time. Let's get some common groups here. And so when we say a door, we're going to grab all of that stuff in one line item here. Okay? So not maybe as specific as what you could get if you chose each one individually and got it right on, but a very nice way to maybe speed up your estimating a little bit. Another RS Means book here is the Facilities Maintenance and Repair book. So this book is actually 3 books in one. It includes the Maintenance and Repair book, the Preventive Maintenance, as well as the General Maintenance book. These 3 books are geared towards taking care of an existing facility. All right, so doing minor repairs, general maintenance kind of stuff, that kind of stuff. So carpet cleaning, taking out the trash, changing out filters inside of your HVAC equipment, that kind of stuff. Maybe doing minor repairs on concrete steps that are starting to break apart, that kind of deal. All right, so those are geared towards more of the facility owner who doing some minor stuff. The other guides there that we kind of talked about are looking at some of your bigger stuff, so your new construction, maybe a major renovation, that kind of stuff, which is nice. Let's look at one more RS Means book here, and that's the trades. So it's not actually a book, it is a reference to the trades, the labor rates that are used inside of these books. Okay, so this could get you straight up electrical. So if you needed several hours of an electrician to trace wires or something like that, you could come in here and grab straight out labor hours, which is nice. Or maybe you needed common building laborers, something like that. So those are a nice kind of overview of some of the different RS Means guides. Okay, we'll check out some of these other ones here as we go through the video. But let's go ahead. We set the building construction as our default. Let's open up the facilities in this case, and we'll open up the building construction a different way. So let's double click on this, and now we're in the 2016 RS Means facilities. Okay, again, we're not going to dig into them here. We just want to see how to get to them in this video. So let's close that up. Now that'll return us to our updating estimate window to the line items tab, and we could go to work. So we could open up another guide, for example, in our case here. If in doubt, we're going to right click. Notice now our first option there was in fact reserved for our default pricing guide, the building construction. So now we could just click on this and we would go directly into the building construction and we'd be cooking with gas. Okay, so we skipped over that pricing guide registry window. If we come back here and right click again, we have the fourth option is still going to be the select guide to open, which will open up our pricing guide where we could choose a different guide. All right, I'm going to look at this one more time, otherwise Bruce will get mad at me for not showing you hotkeys. All right, if we remember here from our other videos, insert is usually going to open up our default option, and control insert is going to open up our list of options so we can choose the one we'd like. So let's kind of just see how this works. We haven't done this yet in one of our videos. If we highlight the top one, and we can see insert there, and then control insert again. All right, so I'm going to come back here. So what we do is we don't do it from the menu itself, we do it from the window here. So if we hit the insert key on the keyboard, boom, the RS Means building construction is going to open up. Now I'm going to hit escape and close that down. The second option, right, was control insert. That's going to open up our pricing guide registry, and maybe we want to open up the assemblies data. So there we can see we're in the assemblies with all those line items. All right, so hopefully that kind of makes sense, and there's the hotkeys there for those of you who want to be just a little bit quicker. The second way to open up our pricing guides is the handy dandy quick select guide. All right, so here we can use this pull down to get our list of active as well as inactive guides. Okay, we've seen most of these. Let's take a peek at some of the ones that we haven't. So let's focus on the alternate and the painting IDIQ. The alternate guide is your guide. So we can, to use the quick select, let me do that first. We would highlight the one we want, select it. it would be there, and then we would come over to this button, the Open Currently Selected Guide button, and click on that to actually open up that guide. The alternate guide is your guide. Your organization gets to share an alternate guide. Remember those custom items we talked about a little bit ago, where you could create a custom item? Here, you could put that custom item into your alternate guide, your customizable guide, and use that price again and again on any estimate in any project that you wanted to. Okay, so maybe it's vendor quotes, maybe it's specific items you couldn't find in the RSMeans guides. Maybe you've done previous work on your campus there, and you've created some square foot pricing that you just want to have some quick square foot numbers so you can do some quick budgetary numbers. All right, so any kind of way you want to put in your customized information, you can do that. What's nice is you can set up different folders. All this is customizable, so you could organize however you would like to, how your line items are set up. You can set up an index. You can use the query, which is a quick way to find stuff. Again, don't want to get too deep into this, but it's a pretty nice way to customize your book. So that's the book that you own, that you can manage and then use again and again. All right, I'm going to hit escape there. And the last one I want to look at in this video is IDIQ guides, okay? Indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. Those contracts are usually single discipline, like painting or paving, something like that, where the facility owner wants to set up a customized book of some sort and then do that kind of single trade activity again and again and again. Maybe for 1 year, maybe for up to 5 years, that kind of stuff. A lot of times those customized books are set up in Excel, and what we do is, since you're estimating inside of E4Clicks anyway, we allow you to just put those IDIQ guides directly into E4Clicks and use them just like you would use any other pricing guide. It comes with some really big advantages actually. So it gets you out of a spreadsheet, so there's no more hidden formulas or hidden cells or prices that accidentally get changed, any of that kind of stuff. So it's locked down, so you don't have to worry about the integrity of the data, which is really nice. The other thing is we can handle multiple years. So if you had a base year and 4 option years or whatever, you could actually copy and paste and actually reprice from 1 year to the next, which is super nice. So they're all tied together there that way. Again, we can use the query and the index and some of those other search utilities, which is kind of nice, and you can again set them up in folders if you'd like to that way. All right, so it's a real nice way to get you all in one product, all locked down, all have good integrity of your data. Okay, so maybe here you saw some pricing guides that you don't have access to but think you would like to. Give us a holler. We'll see about adding those to your subscription, and that'll be good. Okay, so hopefully this video gave you a good idea of how to jump into your project, into your estimate, and then open up a pricing guide so then you could later find line items and then put them into that estimate. Okay, so we saw all kinds of good stuff, took a peek at some different things. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please take a look at our other videos and give us a holler if you need any help with anything. All right, thank you so much and have a wonderful, fantastic day.